It is lunchtime at Hibak Hussein's rag-thatched hut home in Ainabo camp for the internally displaced in Somaliland's Burco district. Today, the family is lucky to have some donated white rice for lunch. The 26-year-old mother of four moved here a couple of months ago after walking over 100 kilometers with her children to seek aid after drought killed all her livestock, which she says were her only source of livelihood. She says she was left with nothing and didn't want to end up dying with her children in the jungle, so she moved to seek relief in the camp. But even in the camp, life has not been easy.
Sometimes I don't have food for my children and we go to bed hungry. As a mother, I feel a lot of pain about that.
Many Somalis are nomadic pastoralists, with livestock diminished by deadly drought affecting 7.8 million people across Somalia. Large populations have moved to IDP camp to seek relief aid. Hussein is among the 1.6 million UNHCR say have been displaced by drought in the country in 2022. Over 300,000 more are facing famine, according to the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs.
We are actually receiving a limitless number of people dropping out from their, nomadic pastoral lifestyle, because the drought is so severe that there's no pasture for livestock, there's no water for both livestock and human consumption.
More than 40 million people are struggling with hunger, fueled by a deadly record drought in the Horn of Africa that has killed over 10 million animals. The worst situation is said to be in Somalia and the breakaway Somaliland region.
So the situation is grave, but the worst part is that our humanitarian response collectively is not matching the needs, and people are dying right now, and we would be seeing a higher number of deaths next year if we don't step up immediately.
Compounding the problem for Hussein, her two youngest children are malnourished, the youngest severely. About 1.8 million children aged under 5 years face acute malnutrition across Somalia, according to a report by UNICEF. Kadra Juma, a nutrition nurse at Ainabo Health Center, told VOA the facility records a daily average of 10 to 15 cases of malnourished children.
Sometimes there are cases with very severe malnutrition. We try our best to stabilize them and send them to good hospitals, like Burco Hospital, but sometimes some of them die.
In a trip organized by Care International for journalists, VOA visited 5 IDP camps in Burco district alone and recorded harrowing tales of families that walked hundreds of kilometers through conflict-ravaged areas in search of humanitarian aid in the camps. Tales of mothers walking long distances with their malnourished children, sometimes burying loved ones who die along the way. The last severe famine in Somalia in 2011 cost more than 250,000 lives, half of them children. Humanitarian groups warn of a repeat of the situation.
The starving people of Somalia, they are all looking at us. And let me remind the international community and the world leaders. You promised in 2011, you promised to Somalia never again. You promised again in 2017, never again. Why is it happening again? We can still prevent. We can still save lives and livelihood. Please step up and act now.
As the world awaits possible declaration of famine in Somalia, for those affected by drought like Hibak Hussein, the situation could not be any worse. Juma, Majanga for VOA News, Burco, Somaliland.